December 27, 1941, Vigzy, Norway. A fleet of British commando landing craft is closing in on a German-held island. German soldiers are waiting on the shore, machine guns positioned, defenses ready. The ramps drop. And from the front of the lead landing craft, a British officer stands up, draws his broadsword above his head, and begins playing the bagpipes. Not metaphorically, not for morale on the ship before the battle. On the beach, under fire, charging at the Germans, with a sword, playing bagpipes. His name was Lieutenant Colonel John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill, but everybody called him something else. Mad Jack. And this is only the second strangest thing he did in World War II. To understand Mad Jack Churchill, you have to understand that he was born in the wrong century. Jack Churchill was born on September 16, 1906. He attended the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst, and was commissioned into the Manchester Regiment in 1926. He was a capable, disciplined officer. He was also, almost immediately, bored. Peacetime army life was not enough for a man like Jack Churchill. In 1936, Churchill walked away from the military and spent several years in Nairobi working as a newspaper editor. Then he became a male model. Then he moved to film sets, appearing as a background actor.
Rolling.
Between film shoots, he practiced the bagpipes.
And action! Action! Take him forward!
He had become obsessed with them, practiced until he was good enough to enter competitions. In 1938, Jack Churchill took second place. He was English, competing against Scots, and almost winning. When he wasn't playing the pipes, he was practicing archery. He represented Britain in the 1939 World Archery Championship, with a longbow. There are accounts of Churchill commuting on trains with a claymore hanging from his belt and a longbow over his shoulder. Other passengers, reportedly, said nothing. This was the man Germany was about to go to war with. When World War II began, Jack Churchill wasted no time rejoining the army. He also wasted no time putting his medieval weapons to use. May 27, 1940. The village of Lament, near Riquebourg, France. Churchill and two British infantrymen were positioned on a hill, watching a group of German soldiers advance through the fields below. 5 Germans, less than 30 yards away. Churchill reached for his longbow. He nocked an arrow, drew back, aimed at the lead German sergeant, and released. The sergeant went down. It was the last confirmed longbow kill in modern warfare. A kill that belonged in the 100 Years' War had just happened in 1940. Jack Churchill accepted a military cross for the engagement. Probably wished he could have used the sword too. By 1941, Churchill had joined the Commandos, Britain's newly formed elite special operations force. He was exactly where he belonged. The Commandos were not ordinary soldiers, they were the best Britain had. Churchill immediately became their most distinctive member. He insisted on carrying 3 weapons into every engagement: Thompson, broadsword, bagpipes. He believed that a man charging into battle while playing the pipes couldn't possibly be afraid. His commanding officers thought he was insane. They also kept giving him medals. Operation Archery, December 27, 1941, Vigzy, Norway. As the fleet approached the beach, Churchill stood at the bow. He drew his sword and began playing March of the Cameron Men on his bagpipes. The ramps dropped, German machine guns opened up. Smoke and noise filled the air. Churchill charged off the ramp first, sword raised, still playing. He then threw a grenade to signal the start of the assault. The German garrison did not know what to make of any of this. The raid was a success. Churchill received the Military Cross, and went looking for more Germans. 1943 Italy. Churchill was now in command of No.2 Commando. His unit was given a mission: capture a German observation post outside the town of Melina. Churchill looked at the mission, looked at the German positions,
And hit the target zone by 0400.
And took one corporal. Under cover of night, Churchill and his single companion slipped into Melina. Moving quietly through the streets, listening, watching, they located the German observation post. Churchill stepped out of the dark, sword in hand. The Germans surrendered. By the time the night was over, Churchill had taken 42 prisoners. He marched them back to Allied lines, 42 prisoners. One corporal, one officer with a sword. He received the Distinguished Service Order. His citation reportedly understated the situation considerably. By 1944, Churchill was operating in Yugoslavia, working with Josip Broz Tito's partisans against the German occupation. In May 1944, he organized a raid on the German-held island of Bra, a motley army. The raid ran into problems from the beginning.
All units advance to the secondary objective.
Communication broke down, the plan collapsed. Units failed to reach their objectives. One by one, Churchill's forces were driven back or cut off. Until it was just him, alone on a hillside, surrounded. What did Jack Churchill do? He pulled out his bagpipes and began playing Will You Know Come Back Again. He was still playing when a German mortar round knocked him unconscious. The Germans captured him. They apparently concluded he was one of Winston Churchill's relatives. He was not. They shared only a surname. He was sent to Sachsenhausen concentration camp as a prisoner of particular importance. Most men, upon arriving at Sachsenhausen, focused on survival. Jack Churchill focused on escape. Within a remarkably short time of arriving, Churchill and another British officer had crawled under the wire fence and through an abandoned drainage pipe. They made it out. They were recaptured days later. Churchill was placed in solitary confinement, then transferred to Tyrol. Where the Germans housed over 100 high-value prisoners. On May 5, 1945, American forces arrived in Tyrol. Jack Churchill walked out of his third prison of the war. He was disappointed the war was over. He said as much. The end of World War II presented Jack Churchill with a problem. There was no one left to fight. He dealt with this the only way he knew how. He found somewhere else to go. In 1948, Churchill was posted to British Palestine, one of the most volatile flashpoints in the post-war world. In April of that year, a convoy of Jewish medical staff came under attack. Hundreds of people were trapped. Churchill organized a rescue, with just a handful of men, and helped coordinate the evacuation of survivors. It was an extraordinary act of courage. It was also just a Tuesday for Jack Churchill. After retiring from the military, Churchill took up surfing, then model shipbuilding, then sailing a coal-fired steamboat. He lived to the age of 89. He remained exactly the same man. He never stopped carrying one. When people asked Jack Churchill why he carried a sword into a war fought with machine guns and artillery, any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed, he meant it literally. Think about what this man actually did. He scored the last longbow kill in modern warfare. He charged a Nazi beach playing bagpipes. He captured 42 prisoners with one man as backup. He played a Scottish lament from a hilltop as Germans closed in. He escaped from a concentration camp, captured again, liberated 3 days before the war ended. All of it, with a broadsword on his hip. John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill died on March 8, 1996. He was 89 years old. History called him Mad Jack. He would have preferred something with a sword in it. A longbow, a broadsword, bagpipes, and zero fear. If Mad Jack made you smile and then made you think, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've been watching from episode 1, Hyrule Noda, Simo He, Witold Pilecki, and now Jack Churchill, you already know, the stories history forgot are the best ones. Subscribe to Valor Unearthed, new story every week.